What's up, vlog? Today we are in Ephesus, Turkey.
Yep.
This whole day felt like stepping straight into the pages of Scripture. It's probably the most biblical experience we've ever had. We're taking you from Mary's house to ancient Ephesus to the tomb of St. John himself. So stay with us, this one is special. We left the city behind and rode up to the hills toward the house of the Virgin Mary. Even the drive felt sacred. As we drove up to Mary's house, I saw Megan tearing up. Her mom found peace here years ago, and today, Megan felt that same peace settle over her, a full circle moment only God could write. On the way up, we came across this old open stone basin, almost like a well. Our guide said it was part of the early water system here on the mountain, dating back to the time people believed Mary lived in this area. Just another piece of the history still standing. And walking up, you'll see this brass Mary statue, a simple but beautiful reminder of whose home this tradition points to. As we kept walking, we saw a priest in the distance giving a sermon on an outdoor stage. They actually hold services here in this exact spot. As we approached Mary's house, our guide shared an incredible story. This place wasn't discovered by archaeologists, but through the visions of a German woman in the 1800s. Blessed Annie Catherine Emmerich described this mountain, this whole layout, this home in vivid detail without ever leaving Germany. Years later, explorers followed her descriptions and found this house exactly where she said it would be. And now, here we are, standing at the very door. Cameras stop here, and when we cross that threshold, that feeling hit us instantly. Walking out, we were quiet, emotional. There's a peace in that house that's hard to describe until you feel it yourself. It just stays with you. Just outside the house is the candle lighting area. You can feel the stillness here. Every candle represents a prayer left behind, a piece of someone's heart. Then we made our way up to the water spring. This is where visitors collect holy spring water from the mountain. Some drink it, some take a little home. And tip for anyone coming, bring a small bottle with you. Everyone lines up to fill theirs. Next, we made our way up to this prayer wall. Thousands of prayers tucked into every crack. Something very unique is that these notes don't stay here forever. They're actually collected and ceremonially burned, almost like sending them upward. It adds a layer of meaning you wouldn't know unless someone told you. Walking out of this place leaves you with a feeling that's so hard to describe. Calm, emotional, grateful. This is one of those experiences that stays with you long after you leave. On our way out, Megan grabbed one of these tassels from the gift shop, the ones with Jesus on top and an evil eye below. It symbolizes protection here on this region. Just a small reminder of the peace she felt on this mountain. As we made our way toward our next stop, our guide shared something wild. This entire valley we drove past used to be an ocean. Ships once sailed directly into the heart of Ephesus, but the world shifted, the sea retreated, and the city was left buried in time.
So this is the way, and we are sure, no doubt, that the mother of Jesus.
And now we enter ancient Ephesus. Entering Ephesus is like stepping straight into the Bible. This was one of the major cities of the Roman Empire and a key place in the ministry of Paul. He taught here, debated here, and wrote to the believers who lived here. It's one of the most significant Christian sites in the world. Right when you enter Ephesus, you'll notice this neat row of rocks all lined up. These aren't random. They're actually pieces of broken columns and structures that archaeologists have sorted and cataloged. Think of it like a giant puzzle they're slowly putting back together. As we headed up toward Curate Street, something hits you. This isn't just history. These are the streets Paul walked as he preached, taught, and built the early church. Look down at the road as you walk. It's the same stone they stood on 2,000 years ago. So wild. And these columns, they once framed libraries, fountains, temples, and shops. You realize quickly that this wasn't just a city, it was a masterpiece. And as you start walking down the hill, the marble road gets a little slippery, so be careful. The stone has been polished by thousands of years of footsteps. But take a second to look around at some of these carved pieces lying along the path. These are ancient inscriptions, markers, symbols, and fragments of buildings that once stood here. And right around this stretch, you'll see something pretty cool. The carving that inspired the Nike logo. Yup, the winged goddess Nike herself. That swoosh. It came from the shape of her wings. Then our guide took us off the main street to show us something pretty unique. The ancient public restrooms. This whole square used to be a communal bathroom. One side had marble seats where people would sit, squat, and do their thing. They even had a shared brush for wiping. Ugh. And here's the wild part. While all that was happening, musicians would perform in the middle of the plaza for entertainment. Could you imagine?
Okay, we are about to head to an important library in this old Roman town.
Yep, it is a very important library. It's the Library of Celsus, the moment everyone waits for. This wasn't just a library, it was a symbol of knowledge, culture, and power in the ancient world. And honestly, seeing it in person is breathtaking. The man this library was named after, Celsus, wasn't actually a librarian. He was a Roman governor of Asia Minor. His son built this entire structure as a tomb and a tribute to him. Another thing you'd never know by just looking at it, the facade was designed to make this building look bigger than it really is. Every detail is slightly curved or staggered to create an optical illusion of height. Even 2,000 years ago, they knew how to wow a crowd. When you enter through this gate, pay attention to the details. The Latin inscription, dedicating it to the Emperor Augustus, the symmetry, the craftsmanship. This wasn't just a doorway, it was the grand entrance to the commercial heart of Ephesus. This is the Agora, the marketplace Paul would have walked through, spoken in, and interacted with the people of Ephesus. Imagine him standing right here, surrounded by merchants, idols for sale, and crowds from all over the Roman Empire. This wasn't just a shopping center, this is where the early church pushed against the culture of the day. Then we walked up to the Grand Theater. I honestly couldn't wrap my mind around how massive it is. But when you're standing right up against it, the scale hits you. This thing is huge. The Grand Theater was the heart of ancient Ephesus. With seating for 25,000 people, the theater is where the riot in Acts 19 broke out, when Paul spoke the truth about Jesus. And it's surreal to stand in a place where the early church faced such pressure of a crowd resisting the gospel, and yet the message of Jesus endured. Earlier, I talked about how this huge valley used to be the sea, right? Well, this road is the proof of it. Harbor Road once met the water right here. Boats docked at the edge of these stones, and it's hard to believe that a place that's land and farmland today was once deep sea. And as we leave ancient Ephesus, it hit me how surreal this place really is. We stood on the same ground where parts of the New Testament were unfolding, where even Cleopatra and Mark Antony once walked, and where emperors we read about in school ruled their world. And what's even crazier is they've only uncovered about 15 to 20% of Ephesus. The rest is still buried under the hillside, waiting to be found. This city is nowhere near finished telling its story. We drove up the hill to the Basilica of St. John. The place, tradition says, the Apostle John spent his final years, wrote, taught, and was eventually buried. As you walk up, the first thing you see are the massive ruins of the Basilica of St. John. What's crazy is this used to be one of the largest churches in the world, shaped like a giant cross from above. If you look closely at the pillars, you'll notice a unique symbol, multiple crosses carved into one design. Our guide explained that it was an early Christian mark used to claim the space for worship and to distinguish it from pagan temples. Back then, this simple carving spoke louder than any sign or banner. Something surreal happens next. Walking up to St. John's tomb, you feel the weight of it.
This is exactly where John is buried.
Standing at St. John's tomb, it's overwhelming. See that open air space? This was designed on purpose, a reminder that John's message didn't stay buried. Tradition says this spot once had a simple mound over it, and early believers claimed it would rise and fall slightly, like it was breathing, a symbol of the life and spirit he wrote about. And something that most people don't know is that the tomb is empty today because over the centuries, the site was broken into, raided, and damaged by earthquakes and invading armies. But even without his remains, the location, the history, the faith behind it, all of it is still deeply felt. Right outside, there's this panoramic view overlooking Ephesus, and it's breathtaking. The city, the hills, the old harbor, all in one frame. And right beside it, they have a full-scale model of ancient Ephesus. Seeing it laid out like this, everything suddenly clicks. All the places we just stood in.
Alright, vlog. Today was an epic day at Ephesus. Very spiritual day. On sacred ground, holy land. Just very moving and good, calm day today. So, till next time, catch you guys later. Enjoy the day.